Here.
Then,
You can help me with the letter.
Oh,
Oh, you're so awesome. Thank you so much.
doesn't want to.
This is everybody
All right.
that we're expecting.
Okay. Let's do that.
So, private.
I have to for
You need a glass and a fork.
Hello.
Hello.
Come and find your seat. And just so you know, we have a camera set up because we are live streaming this. In the past, when we've done this, we have done it with a platform called Concert Window, but that one went out of business in September. So we're using Vimeo live stream. And this is the first event we've done like this for Dulcimer Crossing, which I co-own and in which both Erin and I teach, which is an online way of learning to play dulcimer. So people's mouths are kind of full. You think that'll
Good
work?
time to go.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. If you're watching from a distance, everybody here is eating homemade pie.
Yeah.
So if you want to go get yourself, go to the kitchen, get yourself a piece of homemade pie, you'd be right in the homemade pie and some hot tea. Because it's really cold here. It doesn't say yet. Well, this will also be in an archive video. So our video master says no one's watching yet, but that's okay. If they watch on other platforms like Facebook or Vimeo, or we won't know. It's going to all those places.
So we can only see video.
Right here, we can only see the video.
All right, so we thought we'd start right off with a sing-along. Are you up for it?
With your mouth full of
All
pie.
right.
So you might want to get a little distance from the person in behind. In front of you.
Well, I had a little chicken and she went laying eggs. So I poured hot water up and down her leg. Well, a little chicken home, a little chicken bake, and a little chicken laying me a hard-boiled egg. Turkey and a straw, turkey and hey, 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 hey. Like high, turkey and a straw.
We need a little review on that last bit there.
That's right. It's a little tricky, but you can get it. It goes, you roll up and twist them.
Roll them up and twist them.
With a high tuck-a-haw.
With a high tuck-a-haw.
And then fiddle up a tune.
And then fiddle up a tune.
We call the turkey and the straw.
Call the turkey and the straw.
All together now. You roll up and twist them with a high tuck-a-haw. And fiddle up a tune. Call the turkey and the straw. Did you ever go fishing on a warm summer day when all the fishies were swimming in the bay with their hands in their pockets and their pockets in their pants? Did you ever see a fishy with no which fishy can? Turkey and straw, turkey and hay. Roll the fish with high like a high, and get it up to call the turkey and Well, I went out to milk, but I didn't know how, so I milked the goat instead of a cow. Little monkey sitting on a pile of straw. He was looking at his mother-in-law. Turkey and the straw, turkey and the hay. Well, the monkey just went a high, like a high, and he said, "What's the truth? Well, turkey and the straw, turkey and the straw, turkey and the hay." Well, the monkey just went a high, like a high, and he said, "What's the truth? Well, turkey and the straw." Woo!
And if you don't know who we are, I'm Steve.
And I'm Erin Mae.
So that gets that clear.
Yes. Now we know who we are. And the instruments that we're playing are all various kinds of dulcimers. Dulcimers and hybrids of dulcimers. So,
think you're the one who played this last time.
Actually, Megan's the one that played it
Oh,
last time.
yeah.
I blame her.
So the strap was set for me,
That's right.
but it's customizable. You missed it. We had an after-school jam session today.
We did.
Daniel got out his clarinet,
Yep.
and then we found there's a gifted cornet that no one was for sure was an instrument that was going to work. And we got it out. Sure enough, Bridget and Daniel were playing duets, and then Megan got her mountain dulcimer, and they had a trio. And in the other room, Kate was playing the piano on the same song. It was wonderful. So, it's just,
Oh, that's in C.
aha.
We were playing it.
Speaking
in the jam
about that.
session.
Could I have a ding?
We figured out that if you tuned the dulcimer to CGC and the clarinet played the notes that were written for a DAD tune, and the piano started on the key of C notes, that everybody could play together. It just took a little figuring. But then the dulcimer got detuned, retuned.
That's C2. Okay, I think it's time for us to go soaring. This is the title of one of my recordings and one of my hits. I've got more than one hit now.
Wow.
Yeah, I got more than one hit now. But this is the
We're
one
not worthy.
that PBS used in their Road Trip Nation show. And we can do it right here. And I will invite you to find different ways to be part of it. Here we go. Okay, anybody got any forks and plates? Those make good percussion instruments. Does anybody have your car keys? I don't know if we're going to hear your car from here, but you can go beep, beep, beep. Or house keys are also good. Those make good percussion instruments. Let's hear those rattly kind of things. All right, some of the rest of us might only have feet, but we can tap our toes. That's good. All right, who's got hands for clapping? You have to put your hot tea down or you're going to get a little bath. Here we go, and all those feet are there to use. Just use whichever one you want. All right, that was very good. Now, if you got something in your mouth you want to swallow, this would be a good time. Because we're going to do the tongue clucking verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, who could tell they were in shape with their tongue? Yeah, all right. We got some people who've been doing exercises since last time. Very good. Okay. Anybody bring a didgeridoo? Okay, here we go.
And fit in the car.
Yeah, wouldn't fit on the plane or the car. Here we go. All right. Very good. There's ways to go soaring. We have plates and cups. We have toes. We got car keys, the jingly percussion. Oh, whistling. All right, we're going to add that. We've got tongue clucking. We've got didgeridoo playing. We've got hand clapping. Whatever else you can think of, let's go soaring. Here we go. Hey. That was mighty fine. You're great. You're great.
Good soars.
I think you're good soarers. Soarers?
Soars.
You're good at soaring.
It sounds less enchanting
Yeah.
than I
But
intended.
it did in your head?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it gets out in the world and it doesn't have the same. Well, since we got some activity and we've already got the neighbors woken up. Because for those of you at home, we're on a third floor apartment right now. So there are some neighbors who are enjoying the concert from below us.
They were invited.
But they were, you invited? I thought
I
you said,
invited them.
I thought you said warned.
Right, I did. It was either if you come, you're invited. Otherwise, you know why we're stomping on the floor.
Why is there a Martin dance? So one of the things both Erin and I get to do is play music with a little people. Like I get to do it a lot with people his age, all the way up to 5 and 6.
Wow.
And I get to do that like 6 days a week.
Oh.
It's really fun. And several years ago, I was living in Fort Collins. It was August, and I was mowing my lawn. And what do you think was jumping out of my way? Grasshoppers. And I thought, this sounds like the perfect seed for a song. So we're going to have a little room for the grasshoppers to hop. And there's a good spot right over here. If you are hopping over here, be careful of the rugs because you might go up with the rug in one place and it might be in a different place when you come down. Good. And you might miss. But if you stay low hopping, you're safer because you're closer when you land. Some of the grasshoppers that I mowed with, they went fly wide. They just, and the song is "My Mower's Making Music for the Grasshoppers to Dance." And you sing back to me what I sing to you. The sky was blue. The sky was blue. Whoa. The grass was long and green.
The grass was long and green.
It was the prettiest day.
The prettiest day
I've ever seen.
I've ever seen.
I get on my mower,
Here's my mower.
pull the cord and turn it on.
Turn it on.
And noise it makes. And some hopping and bopping all over the lawn. I'm always making music for the grasshoppers to dance. I'm always making music for the grasshoppers to dance. I'm always making music. I'm always making music. I'm always making music for the grasshoppers to dance. Okay, now the grasshopper's gonna hide. You can stay right here, but just hide. Oh, put on your visibility cloak. That works also too. The mama grasshopper said, Mama grasshopper said, where my babies go? I thought I saw them hopping here just a moment ago. I guess they're hiding deep in the grass, waiting for the next time the mower comes to pass. Here we go. Mowers making music for the grasshoppers to dance. My mower's making music for the grasshoppers to dance. My mower's making music. My mower's making music. My mower's making music for the grasshoppers to dance. Okay, now it's time to go to sleep, grasshopper. That's a good snore, yep. The sky was black, the sky was black, but the moon was bright. But the moon was bright. I couldn't see anything moving tonight. Where are the grasshoppers? Asleep it seems. But up there hopping in the grasshopper tree. My mother's making music for the grasshoppers today. My mother's making music for the grasshoppers today. My mower's making music. My mower's making music. My mower's making music for the grasshoppers. My mower's making music for the grasshoppers. My mower's making music for the grasshoppers to take a ride. Ha ha! Well done, grasshoppers.
Which instrument do you want to play next?
Well, that's a good question. There's a lot up here. I've played the Galax dulcimer, which is everything tuned to the same pitch, and used a noter, and I played with a pick on this one. What do
you want to do something pretty-ish?
Oh, pretty-ish? Can we do
Yeah.
something pretty-ish?
Pretty-ish.
I heard somebody singing
Not
something
too
pretty-ish.
pretty. Just
Oh,
no,
that's
ish.
way pretty then. We shouldn't do that one.
Oh, well, let's do Holy Hannah.
Okay. Was I gonna do that in dulcimer?
I don't remember. Yes, that was the one you were excited
That's what I
about,
was thinking
right?
about this morning, wasn't it?
Uh-huh. Sometimes.
Are you gonna throw me some curves?
Sometimes when you're locked into a place, like on an airplane, or like standing in the shower, and you're like your brain goes and comes up with ideas because the rest of you is doing, stuck somewhere, right?
Place to do.
Yeah, you know?
In the shower.
Yeah, so Steve's great travel idea was to do a whole album of hymns recorded on dulcibro. And I'm saying it out loud because I think it's a good one.
You got a question?
Now the connection is now unstable.
Oh.
It used to be a stable connection, now it's unstable.
Uh-oh.
It's probably all the jumping.
It must be the grasshoppers.
No building.
It's nothing about us, though. We're not unstable. Or, yeah, this is a dulcibro. This is a hybrid. It's what happens when dulcimers and dobros date. So this has got a full aluminum cone speaker in here, and I use a slide in this side. That lets me play all the notes in between all the ones Erin's got, because she's got a lot of notes. But I've got more. And it kind of imitates the human voice, which you can sing all the notes. Try it with me. Which is actually, when you wake up in the morning, a real good vocal exercise. And you know where it's the good place to do it? In the shower! Because reverb is so good in there, you're hydrating your voice. And in Colorado, hydration is everything. Actually, we're going to the Colorado Dulcimer Festival. I started to tell you this. Our friend who's coming from Chattanooga, which is not really low, but they may be older mountains, but they ain't bigger mountains.
Right.
And he was saying, so how long is our pre-festival workshop? Because he's doing one, I'm doing one on Thursday. And I said, well, it's from 1 to 4. It's 3 hours. So I said, you better work on your breathing because the air is thinner here. And then he says, what's that mean? I said, you're going to have to be ready for it. And he said, dang, I'm out of breath here. And I said, you better breathe up some of that low country air and bring it with you so you have some left over.
That's right, because you take a big, deep breath here and you're just lightheaded because there wasn't any oxygen.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun.
I'm not complaining.
Just a moment. So I'm sitting at the San Francisco airport, the new terminal dedicated to Harvey Milk this morning at 5:30 this morning, and with my dulcibro. And I thought, what else should I do? I should play a little bit. And then I Did you want to do something else with it?
Well, we could.
What would you like to do?
Let's go minor.
Which one?
Pentatonic.
But which one? What key center do you want?
I want Dorian.
Oh no.
No sharps or flats.
But do you want to be a D?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that acceptable?
Okay. But we're not in D. It doesn't start on Do.
Oh, right.
This is one of my tunes. It starts on 5.
Of course it does. I'm good now. I know.
Okay.
I know how to play this tune. Yay. That was fun.
A little bit of an inside joke. Erin and I are teaching a music theory as if dulcimers mattered class
Love it.
for Dulcimer Crossing for our premium members, and we've been talking a lot about the modal things that are the way the dulcimers are put together. Now, Erin went to the dark side and got a chromatic instrument. You notice she's got all these normal frets.
Yeah, my dulcimer looks normal. Or something.
And these don't. They have only like the white keys, and this
Big
gives her a lot of flexibility. We've been helping people try to make sense of how to think, because the modes, which are an old way of talking about music, are where songs live. So if you're trying to figure out how to play a song, if you know what mode it might fall in on the hammer dulcimer, you just use a pattern and you start someplace and you go. Here, same thing, you start at a certain fret and it works. So it's a key to knowing how to play the music. So
Yeah. So we've been hopefully helping people use the key to unlock music,
yes, because that's the goal.
as opposed to just owning a key.
People will tell me sometimes, I don't like theory. And I'd say, well, I like this theory a whole lot. Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Yeah.
It helps me brush my teeth every morning. And I don't spend all my time trying to get the water to come on going in the wrong direction, or trying to get the toothpaste off going in the wrong direction. I just remember this little theory. I don't have to learn it new every day. So that's how it's good.
You guys are helpful.
I'm thinking we should look for some crawdads.
I like
Don't
this
you?
idea.
Don't you think so?
Yes, definitely think so.
You get a line and I'll get a boat, honey.
Honey, where's your car?
You get a line, I'll get a boat, babe. You get a line, I'll get a boat. We'll go down to the crawdad hole, honey. Baby, mine. Turn the duck straight to the break, honey. Turn the duck straight to the break, babe. Turn the duck straight to the break. Look at them crawdads in that lake, baby, mine. David, have to say, got to throw them out for you. Okay? Get up, old man, you slept too late, honey. Get up, old man, you slept too late, babe. Get up, old man, you slept too late. Crawdad man, done past your gate, honey. You get a line and I'll get a hole. You get a line, I'll get a hole, honey. You get a line, I'll get a hole, babe. You get a line, I'll get a hole. We'll go down to the crawdad hole, honey. Show us some crawdads, Erin. They look tasty. That crawdad sitting on the bank, honey. get a line, I'll get a pole. I'll get a pole. We'll go down to the crowded What you gonna do when the lake goes dry, honey? What you gonna do when the lake goes dry, babe? What you gonna do when the lake goes dry? Sit on the bank and cry, cry, cry. Sugar baby mine. One last time, get your pole. Hey, 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 you give a line, I'll get a pole. We'll go down to the crowded hole. Honey, sugar baby, honey, sugar baby, mine.
Awesome.
I don't feel near as cold when I go down to the swamp like that.
That's right. You know, I was in New Orleans 2 weeks ago, and the first day I got there was 30 degrees, and I was disappointed. It was equally winter in New Orleans, so the crawdads were freezing that day too.
Well, I'm going to go there next month. I expect it will not be freezing.
I expect it will not be.
When I used to live in Missouri, August would come in April and stay until October. So if you were a dog, there were a lot of days for you.
Dog days.
Yeah, and everything else. Let's completely change everything.
I love that.
So this I haven't picked this one up yet. This is a brand new one. This is made with nylon strings, and people don't do that. But Robert Stevens in South Carolina has figured out how to do it, have it have some rich, warm tone. And I think let's do the bossa nova one first.
Okay.
Let's do that. I love it because I also love to play classical guitar. And I just released a new recording since I saw you last. Recorded it in March and released it in the summer. And it's been doing really good with folk radio and on several charts, and chosen as one of the top 10 for the fall by the Global Music Award people, and some great reviews. It's really fun when people listen to the music and then write you about it. That's awesome.
It's magic.
Because a lot of times we do this as artists and performers in a solo place, and we never know what effect it really has until people tell us. And they invite us to come to their homes and play it for their family and friends. So this is a tune that's from that recording, but I played it on the recording in guitar, but here it actually works in the mountain dulcimer. It's called Eos, which is in Greek mythology, the name of the dawn god. And the day after I bought that acoustic, the classical guitar, I was up with my guitar at dawn in December, which means it came later. And this is the tune that came out, so it works here. Erin. That was nice.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like Presbyterian guitar was really meant for Dulcimer. I'm thinking maybe that might have been too.
Maybe that piece you wrote on guitar wasn't really a guitar piece.
That was just the way it got here.
That's right.
Because this wasn't built yet.
That's true. Sometimes things take a crooked path.
People can change.
Really?
They can. Sometimes they don't want to. Sometimes they're forced to, but people can. In World War I, Martin Niemöller was a German U-boat captain, decorated. That was when U-boats were just brand new, and the Germans had them and other people didn't in the same way. And when the war was over, he became a Lutheran pastor. And he wrote a book called From U-Boat to Pulpit and talked about the transformation that happened to get to be from a war hero to be the pastor of this church. He was a pastor of St. Annenkirche in Dahlendorf, which is a small, old town that had been swallowed up by Berlin. And the church was built in the 1200s, St. Anne's Church at St. Annenkirche. And he was such a popular preacher, they had to build a new church because they couldn't fit everybody who wanted to come to the sermons on Sunday. And they had to make a whole new stop on the train system that goes all the way through Berlin for people to get to church on Sunday. It was a stop that was only there on Sunday. It wasn't there any other day of the week. And they would just, people go over there. He was very, very popular. As he started to watch what was happening with the rise of National Socialism, which became the Nazis, he was part of the group of people called the Confessing Church, which resisted. And the Nazis tried to sign all these concordats and have all the churches help them push their agenda. And they required certain things from the pastors, and he was one of the ones that said no. In fact, his confession was, Jesus is our leader. Jesus ist unser Führer, not Hitler. And that wasn't a popular opinion for the Nazis. So he was a marked person. So they were bugging the church. They were bugging his office. They forgot to bug the kitchen. And that's what the Confessing Church meant. Because that's just where women are, and they're just cooking and things. It's nothing important. The male mindset, when it's doing all that kind of stuff, is its own enemy. Thankfully, we have been there. We took students from Colorado State in 2006 and stayed in what used to be the parsonage. And there is, in that kind of a building from that time period, there's a breakfast nook that's built into the wall. You know those. There's a bench and there's a table that doesn't come out. It's just built there, and there's windows. And there's a picture above it of Martin Niemöller and his wife after the war sitting there. And so there's a picture of a reminder. We've been having our liverwurst and our Käse and our Schwarzbrot. We've been having all that in this place that they did all their planning for the resistance. He was arrested in 1937 and was Hitler's special prisoner. He was too popular to be just disappeared. So he was alive throughout the whole war. Rare, but he was alive. And we visited the camp he was in, Sachsenhausen, which Himmler called the perfect prison camp because it was built like a triangle, which meant infinitely expandable. And it's the one that they brought all the Western journalists to see to show how good they were when they took care of these people that they were having in special custody. And of course, they only showed the people that were healthy in the first row. They didn't show the ones behind. And they didn't let them see the killing shed where there's so many bullet casings down there. But we got to see Martin's cell where he was. He's famous for saying the quote that I set to music. I'm not the first person or definitely the only one, but this is one I lived with and wrestled with for a long time, and finally got it set to music in about 2002. And I got to sing it at his church in 2006. That's when Germany was finding out about the Americans' extraordinary renditions of our prisoners that we couldn't torture on American soil, but we could take them to Germany and do it. This is during the Iraq-Afghanistan war. And that was the news while we were there. Heavy time. There's a lot of heavy times in life, aren't there? Well, this is Martin's quote, and part of why he dedicated the rest of his life afterwards to trying to make sure that kind of thing didn't happen again. When they first came for the communists, I said nothing. When they came for the union workers, I said nothing. I said not a word did I speak. Nothing I said, not a word from me. When they next came for the gypsies, I said when they came for all of the Jews, I said nothing. I said not a word did I speak. Nothing I said. When they came for the Catholics, I said I was a Protestant who did not protest. I said nothing. I said not a word did I speak. Nothing. I said not a word from me. When at last they came for me, there was no one. They said when at last they came for me, there was no one. They said nothing. They said there was no one left to speak. Nothing. They said not a word. He can change. Maybe I can too.
I'm thinking.
That's good.
I was just listening to an interview with Brene Brown where they were talking about, interchange and vulnerability and courage and all of these words that are hard to actually embody. And they were talking about how important gratitude for the regular things is to all of the big things that we want to do. And how when interviewing people about their fondest memories late in life, what are your fondest memories? Very often it's things like, I remember this one dinner around the table, or I remember that our family always sat around the table and had dinner together, or it's one day when I was washing dishes, this thing happened. It was never like
One day in the shower.
I did this big thing. Look at the accomplishment I made. It was always look at the simple things. So I was thinking that we should celebrate life.
Oh.
That's how we met 3 years ago.
Yeah, so let's celebrate life. We need your input because we have ways that we celebrate, but we don't know all the ways you celebrate.
Our listeners seem to be uncertain of Colorado to me.
Well, the air is thinner up here.
They can't breathe either.
Well, they're thinking this is great because they were up to 30,000 feet. But yours they're still on their way here.
Yeah.
So it goes, I celebrate life, I celebrate life, I celebrate life in my or with my, and then we find different words of how we celebrate. Have you got the first one? Oh.
No, but I don't think anyone can get through because there are
Nobody's watching this one?
not on Vimeo, but maybe on other things, but I don't think they can get through.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know. Are you ready?
Sometimes technology is our friend.
That's what I celebrate with. Technology. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with technology. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with technology. Who used the GPS to get here? Who used the map? That's just an older technology. Okay, how else do you celebrate? Pie. Oh, celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with pie. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with pie. Hot tea. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with pie. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with party. With what was it? Friends. And what was that? Music. Okay, friends and first in the music. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with friends. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with friends. And music. Celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with music. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with music. I should probably la la to go along with that one, right?
Yes.
La 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 la. How else? Snow. Celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with snow. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with snow.
Grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with grasshoppers. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. We celebrate life with grasshoppers.
Babies.
Babies!
Yeah.
I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with babies. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with babies.
Dulcimers.
Dulcimers! I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with dulcimers. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with dulcimers. Did you see the big smile on her face when you said that? She sat up a little straighter.
Family.
Family! I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with family. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with family.
Animals.
Animals! I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with animals. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with animals. Nature. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with nature. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with nature. Dancing. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with dancing. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with dancing. You know, somebody once said this at a coffee shop I was in, and I thought this is one of the most under-remembered celebrations. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with clean socks. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with clean socks. Right? I'm really grateful for clean socks. Glasses. Oh, yes. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with glasses. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with glasses. Take them out for a minute. Just It's very abstract. But you know, when the Christmas tree is up and you have the lights on it, it never looks better than like this. How about one more? Lights. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with lights. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with lights. You know, I got it. Thank you very much. But I was thinking as we were doing the last one, there's what we need to do because Rex, I just got to say, I'm very impressed with Daniel's fire starting skills. He didn't need to use Boy Scout water or anything. He just kind of waved his hand over here and the fire came on. So I think we need to celebrate with fire starters. In the cold like this, somebody who can start a fire and keep it going. Really a good thing to celebrate. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with fire starters. I celebrate life. I celebrate life. I celebrate life with fire starters.
Yes, indeed. What time is it? We have a few more minutes.
Is it Red Sea Road?
Maybe so.
We have a request from our host.
Yes.
And when you host a house, this is the thing, if you host a house concert, you get to make a request that we will do our best to honor. Now, I have friends who are in bands and say, we don't take requests. And other people say, we take requests, we just don't play them. And others say, we take requests and we play anyway. So this is This is a request from Abby.
And about this time last year, as I was getting ready to come to Colorado, we had made big plans that my grandma was going to come with me. And a week before the trip, Grandma fell. And for the rest of the year, Grandma sort of steadily declined and passed away in November. And I hopped in the car and I'm all excited about coming to Colorado. And I turn on this song to make sure I've got it in my head. And well, you'll see in the first verse, I just started crying. So hopefully I got that all out of the way yesterday. But this is a good song. So thanks for requesting it, Abby.
And showing us the therapeutic I-70 road.
That's true. It turns out when there's nothing to look at, like once again, your brain does other things. We bury dreams, leave them home to the earth behind us, said our goodbyes at the grave, but everything reminds us God knows we ache when He asks us to walk. How we go on, we will sing to our souls. We won't bury our hope where He leads. We will go down the
Red Sea Road.
when we can't see the way. You will part the ways, and we'll never walk alone on the
Red Sea Road.
How can we trust when you say you will deliver us from this pain that threatens to take over us? Well, this desert's dry, ocean may consume. We're scared to follow you. So we'll sing to our souls. We won't bury our hope. Where He leads, we will go down the Red Sea Road. When we can't see the way, He will part the ways, and we'll never walk alone on the Red Sea Road. Oh, help us to believe You are faithful, You're faithful. When our hearts are breaking, You are faithful, You're faithful. Grant us eyes to see, You are faithful, You're faithful. Teach us to see, You are faithful, You're faithful. We will sing to our souls. We won't bury our hope. Where He leads, we will go down the Red Sea Road. When we can't see the way, He will part the waves, and we'll never walk alone No, I'll never walk alone.
Who wrote that? Ellie Holcomb. With a silent B at the
A
end.
silent B at the end. Yes.
She's got a whole album called that.
Ah, it's the title track. Okay, nice.
It's a good one.
Thank you for the request.
I'm cold, tired.
So,
Yes. Do you want to play Boomer?
oh, yes, I do. I need to do that.
Boomer is a baritone dulcimer.
And has been sitting over there lonely the whole time.
Lonely, sad.
So one of the nice things about flying here and Erin driving here is that she gets to bring the dulcimers I can't bring with me. You notice she has not changed.
True. I play this one dulcimer for almost everything I ever do. I'm a monogamous dulcimer player.
Oh, go making it sound like it's a virtue. Well, I have a harem. if we're gonna live in that kind of. Well, speaking of harems and such, not exactly that, but in the last century, there was a songwriter that had a hit in the country music world with a song about a tractor. And I was driving with my daughter up toward Meeker Park Lodge up by Estes for the memorial service of a dear friend of ours. And that song came on and I started singing it this way. And my daughter says, "Oh, Dad, you need to write that and I will help you." So I had a commission. So what am I going to do? I'm going to write that song. So here we go. Playing for dear soldiers' joy. I am just a tune-filled American boy. I love to pick and grin so the dancers can spin all night. Takes a seat beside me and she starts to tap her toe. A wink of her eye and a shy hello. When she starts to swim, I know she's feeling alright. She thinks my dulcimer sexy, really turns her on. Always staring at me, I'm walking along. Likes to hear me strum, and she knows just when to hum. She's even kind of crazy about my careless note of thumb. She's the only one who understands what gets me. She thinks my dulcimer sexy. I grab my pick and note her and I start to stroke the string. The smile she's giving me makes me want to sing. And when we sit down and when the song is over, we both just sit and sigh. Let me hear the sigh. She says she's got a dream. I ask her what it is. She wants to harmonize with a porch full of kids. And one more teeny weeny song before I say goodbye. She thinks my dulcimer sexy. It really turns her on. She's always staring at me. I'm walking along. She likes to hear me hum, and she knows just when to run. She's even kind of crazy about my callous note her thumb. She's the only one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my dulcimer sexy. Not into guitars or pianos and such, but when she hears a drone, her eyes light up. She thinks thinks her dulcimer. She thinks my dulcimer. She thinks my dulcimer sucks.
So which part did Caitlin write?
You know, when you're co-writing, you just take 50% of the credit for each other. I don't remember.
I heard the country song on the oldies country station here in Denver the other day.
See, old time music.
Yeah.
It keeps coming back.
The 80s and 90s.
Oh, Rex, you need to know. Tell them about what Justin asked you.
My husband said to me one day, well, do you know any music from the 80s? And I said, well, the 1880s. I got that era covered. I don't know about the 1980s. And then we were listening to the radio one day, and Cyndi Lauper came on, or we were in a grocery store or something. Cyndi Lauper came on, and I was like, hey, that's Cyndi Lauper. And he looked at me. He said, I thought you didn't know any music from the 80s. And I went, oh, she's a dulcimer player. And he just kind of hung his head. Oh.
She wrote Time After Time on her
Oh,
dulcimer.
yeah. I didn't know she played dulcimer.
Yeah.
She does.
Go look on YouTube. The host of everything that's ever happened since the 2000s. as if there was life before that. Oh,
Oh.
what are you feeling?
I don't know. We should do a couple more. Do y'all have any requests that we haven't hit?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
2 hands.
Jenny Jenkins.
Jenny.
Oh.
Is
Is that your request? No, you
What's
had a
that
different request.
Mail order bride.
Mail order bride.
Mm.
Oh, let's see.
Usually play on guitar.
I usually play that on guitar.
Swing low, yeah.
Oh,
They have good taste.
they do have good taste.
Comes from mom.
They're living downstream. And remember, if you get something because you live downstream, you are upstream from someone else. So it's your job to pass it on.
That's right.
Yeah,
Keep the flow going.
yeah. So,
It's the same.
do you feel like Jenny first or Swing Low?
Mom.
I think Jenny, and then we'll end with Swing Low.
Okay, that sounds good. Because I don't have a guitar, it's a lot easier. It's a 6-string mail order, right? I have to completely rewrite the song for a 3-string mail
Oh my
order.
goodness. Maybe next year you can write that song.
So.
D-ish?
D-ish.
It is a dulcimer.
Usually I do this in D.
I've been doing this with my kids.
This is a great song. This is my favorite
You know,
song.
and they are not nearly as creative as the Gnaub kids.
I'm sorry.
No, I have a high standard when I go to do this with kids. And they're not, it's like, come on, do you know any colors?
Rhyming words. All right, so what's the first color that we should do?
Blue.
Blue? Green.
What was yours?
Maroon. Do you have a rhyme for it? You ready?
Well,
Well, you've heard of it.
You have a little time.
Blue.
Okay, you got
Blue,
right.
so what's your rhyme with it?
Color isn't true.
All right.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Will you wear blue? Only dear, only dear. Will you wear blue? Just be different. No, I won't wear blue.
Color's not true.
I'll buy
Be
you
a full roll, take a dollar, seek a dollar, use a pound roll, find me, roll. Jenkins, roll. You might prefer, I mean, they have it, but there might be some people that wanna
I
do
want
it a
to try
little
this.
slower.
It was kind of fast, wasn't it?
Was that the Galax fault or was
I
that?
think it was my fault because I think I counted us in.
I think you did.
I counted us with gusto. and
See, this is
enthusiasm.
adult behavior,
Yeah.
accepting responsibility for setting the wrong tempo.
No, I blame the mountain air. There's not enough in here. That's why I can't count at the right speed.
She's got to get it all in one breath.
Shall we teach everyone else the tongue twister? Okay, so teach it.
Oh, buy me a foldy, roly, tiddly, toddly, sink a double, use a cause a roll to find me. Roll, Jenny Jenkins, roll.
That's a foldy rolly.
I think I'll just do the
Tiddly
roll.
toddly.
Jenkins roll.
Use the cause.
Okay, you guys got the middle part. Yeah.
As my husband says, just sing watermelon, 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 watermelon. That'll get you by 2.
That's right. And here's another singing trick. If you want to look like you're smiling on stage, rub the moisture off your teeth and just sing like that. That's a Glee Club trick. You heard it here first.
Okay, then I can go to any rock concert now.
It works with rap too.
What's that?
It works with rap too. Hold it really 10 to time. See the devil. You can go.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh no, this concert would be so educational.
Wait, I don't know. Are you ready for this degree? Oh.
Oh, what color?
Green.
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 Oh, we're green over here, over here. We're green, green, green. Oh, we're green, we're colors I've seen. Fire here, holy roller, tipply, tipply, secret double, use color roll, fire me. Roll, Jimmy Jenkins, roll. All right, next color. Big kids can contribute to colors too.
They don't go as fast.
Did you come up teal? And
Does know what you.
oh, good one. Lewis.
That partnership. Is that okay if we do his with yours?
What's that?
Teal and appeal? No appeal. No appeal. Oh, wait, wait.
Teal over here, over here.
Where teal, Jenny Jenkins.
No, we're teal, 'cause it has no appeal. I'll buy me a photo,
Different type of secret double, you
on the road, buy me.
roll.
Jenny Jenkins, roll. I like brown.
Okay. Oh, we wear brown on the field. We wear brown.
Jenny Jenkins. No, we're brown. Brown. I'll buy me a photo,
Different type of secret double, you
roll, buy me.
roll. Jenny Jenkins, roll. Pink.
Oh, we're green over here, over here. We're green, Jenny Jenkins. No, we're green, we're green. I'll buy me a photo, different colors, we can go and use color, roll, buy me. Roll, Jenkins, roll. Did you figure out one from maroon? Are you taking help from the audience? Platoon.
Baboon.
Well, that's good.
Platoon of baboon.
A platoon of baboons.
We wear brown on the field. We wear maroon, Jenny Jenkins. No, I won't ever be no like a platoon. You come roll, find me, roll, Jenkins, roll.
You got the tongue twister down, but. All right, any other colors in the house? Oh, cool.
Gold.
Because really old.
Because it looks really old. Oh, will you wear gold?
We wear gold and
No, I won't wear gold because it looks really old. Use the color roll, find me, roll.
Oh, you forgot.
You forgot. Yellow?
Yellow.
Because
And mellow.
Yeah.
Guys are still on thoughts. Good job.
yellow.
When you wear yellow, my dear, my dear. When you wear yellow, Jenny you won't wear yellow. I need fully loaded kids to talk to the devil. You can go find me.
Okay, Norma,
Paisley.
Daisy.
Because I'll look like a daisy.
A daisy.
I'll look a little daisy. A little
Crazy.
When you wear
Paisley over here, over here.
when you wear paisley, Jenny
No,
Paisley. I need a fully loaded kids to talk to the devil. You can go find me.
Well, now, as you can see, this song can go on
And
for a while. But eventually, Jenny Jenkins is simply out of things to wear. So then, it begs the question, oh, what are you gonna do over here, over here? Jenny Jenkins. You won't go here because that would be rude. I need you
I'm glad no one went and got their 128 colors box. Well, thank you to the Knopf family for opening your home
Yes.
to us and all of our friends and your friends. We all get together. We gather. And now we're all friends. And the beauty of a house concert is we have a gathering of people who have never been together before. And in this configuration may not be together again at the same time. So it's this unique point in history, which is one of the beauties of live music. And thank you for being a part of that and for supporting that. This is a part of how Erin and I make our living. We do this, we teach children. We both have programs called Patreon, which is a way that people can support us in an ongoing way. As little as a buck a month can be wonderful as you add that up and aggregate it over time, and it lets us do the things that we are called to do as artists and musicians and educators. And we brought CDs. If you'd like to take the experience home with you, that's one way to do it. And it doesn't involve having us in your house. Although, if you want to invite us, we'd love to come.
That's right.
And we've got a jar over here if you'd like to leave something. Don't feel like you have to, but let we can come. Thank you.
So we're gonna swing low to get us out of here.
I think we should swing low.
That's what you wanted.
Growing up, and when I was really young, my dad was just learning to play instruments at the. He got his first instrument after my sister and I were born, and that was his therapeutic time to himself after kids went to bed, was playing music. But he was part of a gospel Southern, and they met every Wednesday night. And if we had been good all day and we're not overly tired, we were allowed to stay up and sit in the living room for a while when the gospel band was practicing on Wednesday nights. And they always opened every show with a song called Rise Up and closed every show with Swing Low, bringing you back down to earth. And so I have lots of fond memories of this song too. Yeah.
We could play together for a long time to keep learning stuff.
I just thought of that. Only because it was at the end.
We've never put it at the end.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody's Rolodex has different things to connect things. Now, I know some of you don't know what Rolodex is. Everybody's contact program. So here we go. Swing low, sweet chariot, over the water. for to carry me home.
Swing low, sing low, sing
Chariot, coming for to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. Band of dulcimers coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. If you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home. Tell all my friends I'm coming there too, coming for to carry me home. Swing low in harmony, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Let's swing. If you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home, then reach on back and pull me through, coming for to carry me home. Here we go home, sweet love, sweet chariot, come for to carry me home. Sweet love, chariot, come for to carry me home. Come for to carry me home. Come for to carry me
Ran out of batteries.
Thank you.
It looks like there's still some tea and some pie. And my last request, that sounds bad. My final request, just sign my guest book before you go. It'll be right here on the table. But feel free to stay and eat some more pie.
Yes.
Bathrooms are
Let's
down
say
the
thank
hall
you.
to the left and further down.